Well, hello and how are you? It's Shenandoah Briscoe once again, live right here in St. Charles, Missouri. Do you realize that this is Blog 104? That's right, Blog 104. And so, therefore, I'm gonna have to say, wee. But other than that, I'm gonna have to say, I was piddling around on Facebook today, and a friend of mine there named Lisa threw a post. She had a post out there on the page, and I took a look at it, and it had a picture of a jack. Yes, sir, it had a picture of an old-fashioned jack, bumper jack. And, well, it reminded me of a time when I was sitting out there changing some shock absorbers. Yeah, I had a 1972 Ford not Grand Torino, just Torino. Now, that old car of mine, I really liked it. I called it the Blue Bomber because, well, it was a piece of junk. I bought the car for $75. No, I take that back. I bought the car for $125. Now that was a all right deal for back then and then in them days. It stood up for everything it was worth. I really liked it, and I really wanted it to, look a little more of the hot rod look to it than it did in the first place. So what I was going to do was I was going to change out the shock absorbers. I was going to take out the regular standard issue heavy duty shock absorbers, and I was going to put on me some air shocks. That's right, air shocks. Back in the day, you could change around your shocks. Now, these weren't the type of air shocks that would be hydraulic shocks. They were just standard air shocks where you pumped in however much air you wanted for the cushion of your ride or for the lift of the back end of the vehicle. Well, I wanted my vehicle lifted up pretty good so it would look like a dragster, although it weren't no dragster. But anyway, here we go with the story about the jack. I took that jack, that bumper jack, and see the thing with the bumper jack is what happens with the bumper jack is it's got a foot plate. Now, usually this bumper jack is laying underneath your spare tire in the bottom of the trunk of your car. Is that right? No, sir. That is not right. Your spare tire is laying underneath a mat in the trunk of your car. And then you take that mat up, and then your jack is laying across that mat, and then it's got a long screw, and it goes right down through the jack and into the center space on the tire to hold that tire right down into the bottom of the trunk. Now, after you take that it's got a big old wing nut on it too. So you take that wing nut off, and as you're taking your wing nut off, sorry about that, moving this over here. Alright, there you go. And it's got a big old wing nut on it. Not a wing nut, but a wing bolt. So anyway, you're unscrewing this wing bolt, and as you are, here, get out of my way. As you are unscrewing that wing bolt, it takes forever because it's really long. But once you get that unscrewed out of the way, then you go over to the, you grab your jack handle, and your jack clicker upper deal was right there in the middle. I say clicker upper deal. It's the mechanism that as you're jacking the handle up and down, the this thing rides on the shaft, and it raises that deal up and down. Alrighty. Now that being said, in some cases there's just a little metal lip on the jack, and you'd find a hole in your bumper, and you'd slip that little metal hook inside the hole. Now, there were some also, blah, blah, blah. Hold on just a second for me, okay? I'm going to get me a drink of H2O, water, that is, to you and me. Just like this. Okay. Now then, that's got the whistle more wetter. I should be able to burbulate a little bit better. You know what I'm saying, burbulation. Okay, so what we're doing now is there's another type of bumper jack, and it's got another little hook type piece that's laying over there in the side of the trunk, and you grab that and you slip it onto the front of it, and it's got like a huge hook on it, and that hook's underneath the bumper and also attaches to the jacky uppy deal in the middle of your shaft. Okay, now you got a foot base plate. Now usually your bumper jack is shaped like the shaft part of it is either square, rectangle, square, or kind of an off-shaped diamond with a flat face on it, or not diamond, I'm sorry, triangle with a flat face on it, or it's got three different angles of iron. But anyway, you put however it's set up, you go ahead and you place that in. You place your jack shaft into your foot plate. Now that you've got your jack shaft in your foot plate, depending on what you're going to be doing, since I'm not taking the tires off the car, I'm going to just be changing out shock absorbers. I am not going to take my tire tool, which is conveniently located right there on the right. So you grab that tire tool, and you could either one end of it, they call it a tire tool because, well, it's for it's for changing tires. Basically, that's what your jack is for. You're going to jack up your car. You're going to take the one end of your tire tool. You're going to stick into the back jacking portion of your jack, and that's the long pointy end, because the other end's got the lug nut, the lug wrench end on it. So anyway, the long pointy end you're going to stick into the jacky up part of your jack, and it's a little shafty hole, and you just stick it on in there, and you flip the little lever. Don't forget to flip the lever, because if you don't flip the lever, you're not going to go up. You will go down. So remember, flip the lever up to go up. Flip the lever down to go down. Alrighty, that being said, you flip the lever up and you start to jack on the car. Now you're jacking it up, and you're jacking it up, and you're jacking it up, and then you're starting to bust a sweat, because I'm telling you, that car's getting heavy, and that handle's getting harder to push down. But that's beside the point, because the car ain't off the ground yet. So you're jacking it up, and you're jacking it up, and you're jacking it up, and you're jacking it up. And each click that you click, the thing raises up maybe a quarter of an inch. So, you're jacking it up, and you're jacking it up, and you're jacking it up, and you're jacking it up. All right, now you've got it all jacked up in the air. Now, if you're like me and you've got a spare jack foot pad for your jack, well, you take that and you put that under the front tire so that the tire won't roll back, because, so the car won't roll back, because if you put on your emergency brake, well, in cars, emergency brake's on the back wheels. So if you've just jacked these wheels up in the air, an emergency brake ain't going to do no good. So therefore, you have to do something to block the front wheels. In my case, I'd always use a spare foot plate from a jack. So I shoved that under the front wheel there. Now, on the back side of it, facing the back of the car, on the back side of the tire that's towards the back of the car, because in the front, I'm up against the curb. Okay, so here we go. I crawl under this car, and I release the one shock absorber, and when I do, the axle, boom, drops down. Well, I wasn't expecting that, because, well, I had never done shock absorbers before. This was the first time attempt for me. So, that being said, I went ahead and got the one knocked down and got it off of there and popped down, and then I went over to the other side to put that one off. I took that one off too, and it dropped down again. Now I have no idea how I'm going to get that axle back up, but I figure I'll extend my shock absorber all the way down, and that way it'll get on there. So now that I got the old ones off, I get in the car with a friend of mine, and he actually works at the gas station that I'm at, and we go up the road to the parts store. So I'm going into the Auto Zone. Remember, I'm not supposed to say that because they are not my sponsor. If they were, I'd mention them more often because I do shop there a lot. That store that I had previously mentioned that I won't mention again. Anyway, while I'm standing in the store here and I'm getting some assistance from the personnel from the other side of the counter, who are very good personnel. Matter of fact, if you get my drift, most of the time they're quite knowledgeable. So that's a good thing. You go there and you're going to get you some good service. Now there's another place, a new place in town that opened up where the old Blockbuster Video was, but anyway, that's a different store altogether. And, well, they're pretty good too, but I didn't mention their name. One of these guys are going to sponsor me, and then I'll mention some names. But while I'm at that other store, I'm picking up my shock absorbers. Well, I get my shock absorbers, and I get back to the gas station, and I'm deciding I'm going to go ahead and put these shock absorbers on. So I got to put a little air in them to extend them all the way. So they're fully extended, so I'm putting this, getting ready to put the shock absorber on. Well, I'm laying under the car, and all of a sudden, I see the car. I'm looking up, getting ready to put a ratchet, or slip the top eyelet on the shock onto the top ring up there, and I slowly notice my car is just kind of slowly moving across my forehead. And I get to thinking, you know what? With that axle laying here on the ground and no shock absorbers to slow this thing down, and this car moving away from me, I have a tendency to believe that that jack back there might be falling. So I slipped on out from under that there car, and I tell you what, clerpunk, that jack had leaned back off its foot off its foot pad, because the foot pad that I had under the front tire, my tire was not completely inflated, and well, it had just kind of rolled back up on top of that foot pad and was rolling itself right on over it. And so, therefore, bad move, my bad. I should have had something bigger than the foot pad of a jack underneath that tire, or at least had the tires all the way aired up, one or the other. That there car come down with the kerthump a clunk. And so I had to borrow another bumper jack to jack it back up so that I could put my jack back on it. And so therefore I had two jacks at that point in time. Went ahead, put on the shock absorbers, and today that car is history. I'll tell you what, I had a earlier blog. Hey, where's that at? Oh, it's right there. I had an earlier blog that tells you what happened to that 72 Ford Torino, and I'm going to look up the number for that blog right now so I can tell it to you, and you can go back into my archives there, and you can look it up. Alrighty, let's see, that blog was number, hold on, got to get to it. Let's see, 72 Ford Torino, where's it at? Doo-doo-doo. Hold on. Oops, blog 70. No, that's 27. Why worry about the dress? Okay. Do-do-do-do-do. Where is my 72 Ford Torino? That's tornado warning test. No, that ain't it. Alternator belt in Memphis. No. These are all good blogs. I mean, they're little ones. The Corbett family, hello. Confessions of illegal inspection. Oh, come on now. Ah. Autonomic. That ain't it. Tornado to... Uh-oh, it might be one of these that I didn't mark. Oh, no. I've got blog 2 through 18 that aren't really marked. So, therefore, I'm going to have to go back. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to go back through those blogs and find out which one it is, so I can, so that you can go for it. Anyway, when you do get to it, it's going to be marked 72 Ford Torino road trip. No, probably not road trip because, well, we'll call it why I don't wear seat belts. That's what we'll call it. 72 Ford Torino, why I don't wear seat belts. And I'll go back in the archives there and I'll look it up. But yes, like I said, if you look me up under Shenandoah Briscoe, or YouTube by Shenandoah Briscoe, it'll bring you up to date on every one of these. It'll give you all my blogs in one place so that you can take a look at them. And they're all called Hello and How Are Ya? This is Shenandoah Briscoe saying it to you. And you know, God loves you, and so do I. So be blessed and have a great day. We'll talk at you tomorrow, okay? All righty then.